I never thought I would end up running for my life in the forests of northern Washington. I never thought a creature from legends could be real. And I never, ever thought I'd see what no one should ever see. It all started with a news report I almost ignored. Small town, Skagit County, Washington. 3 girls missing. All young, all beautiful, all vanished in the woods at night. The locals were whispering a name we all know, Bigfoot. My first reaction, I laughed. A giant ape? Seriously? But the fear in that town, it was palpable. It felt real. I'm a journalist. I chase the stories others won't. The weird ones. The ones people are too scared to believe. So I did what I always do. I drove north, rented a small cabin on the edge of the Cascades, and brought my camera and recorder. My plan was simple. Get some proof. Write a career-making story. Maybe get a little famous. Simple, right? The first night, the forest was quiet. Unnaturally quiet. The kind of silence that feels heavy, like it's pressing down on you. The wind didn't stir the pines. The shadows seemed to stretch and twist into unnatural shapes. I told myself it was just my imagination running wild, but then I heard it. A low, guttural growl, rumbling from deep within the trees. It wasn't any animal I recognized, and it was getting closer. My heart started hammering against my ribs. I grabbed my flashlight, my hand shaking, and stepped onto the porch. The beam cut a sharp line through the thick darkness. Nothing. Just trees. Just me. And that oppressive silence that seemed to swallow every sound I made. Then, I saw them. 2 eyes, glowing faintly, watching me from behind the massive trunk of an old-growth fir. I froze. Every muscle in my body locked up. The growl I heard earlier erupted into a full-blown roar, a sound so deep, so terrifying, so utterly inhuman that it shook me to my core. And then, just as suddenly as it appeared, it was gone. The eyes vanished. The roar faded into the suffocating silence. The next morning, I found them. Footprints, huge, deeply pressed into the muddy ground near the tree line. They had to be at least 18 inches long. I found deep claw marks gouged into tree trunks, far higher than any bear could reach. And there were branches, thick as my arm, snapped clean off, marking a path where something massive had forced its way through. The locals weren't exaggerating. They weren't crazy. That second night, I was ready. I set up motion-activated cameras around the cabin. Night vision, the works. I tried to rationalize it, telling myself it was just paranoia, but a cold knot in my stomach told me I wouldn't be sleeping tonight. At exactly 2:13 a.m., the alarm on my laptop screamed. Motion detected at the edge of the forest. I grabbed my camera and flashlight, my adrenaline surging, and flung the cabin door open. And there it stood, a tall, hulking figure, half-cloaked in the shadows. Its fur, or hair, was black as midnight, and I could just make out the shape of thick, terrifying muscles beneath it. The smell hit me then. A foul mix of damp earth, wild animal musk, and something else. Something ancient and primal. It just stood there, staring at me. Not growling, not moving. Just watching, calculating. Then, it moved. And it was fast. Impossibly fast. It crossed the clearing toward the trees in what felt like a single, fluid leap. I barely managed to swing my camera around and catch a blur of movement before it was gone. The next day, I went back into town and interviewed more locals. They spoke in hushed, fearful tones. "Don't go out at night," one old man warned me. "Keep your daughters inside," a mother pleaded. "Bigfoot, he doesn't take everyone," another man whispered, looking over his shoulder. "Just the ones he wants." I laughed nervously at first, but then I remembered the news reports, the missing girls, the pattern. It wasn't just a random beast. This was something primal, yes, but also something intelligent. I couldn't stop. The journalist in me, the thrill seeker, was hooked. I followed the tracks deeper into the woods, set up more cameras, and spent night after night listening, waiting. And each night, the forest seemed to come alive with whispers on the wind. I heard things that couldn't be real. Faint screams, what sounded like laughter, and the constant, unnerving snap of branches in the dark. Then came the night I shouldn't have survived. I was following a faint trail near an old, abandoned logging camp. The fog was so thick I could barely see 10 feet in front of me. The shadows weren't just shadows anymore. They felt like they were crawling, reaching for me. And that's when I saw her. A girl. Young, pale, her eyes wide with a terror I can't even describe. She was tied to a tree, bruised and barely conscious. And standing behind her was the creature. Big, muscular, its sheer presence utterly terrifying. It was watching me, waiting, calculating what I would do. I froze, camera in hand. My mind went blank. Should I run? Scream? Try to film it? I was paralyzed. The creature and I stared at each other for what felt like an eternity. Then it opened its mouth and let out a roar that seemed to shake the very ground I stood on. And in that same instant, the girl was gone. One moment she was there, tied to the tree. The next, nothing. Just empty air. No struggle, no sound. She just vanished. That's when I ran. I don't even remember how I got back to the cabin. My hands were bloody and raw from scrambling through the undergrowth. My lungs burned, and I thought my heart was going to explode out of my chest. That night, I didn't even try to sleep. I just sat there, listening to the forest. Every rustle of leaves, every whisper of the wind. I knew it was out there, watching, waiting. I don't know why I survived. Maybe it wanted me to tell this story. A warning. Or maybe it wants me to follow it, to go deeper into its darkness. I'm writing this now in the faint light of early morning. The forest outside is calm again. Too calm. The sun is just starting to rise over the mountains. But I know it's not over. It's still out there. And it's just waiting for nightfall. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever had an experience like this or have stories from your own local legends, please share them in the comments below. And if you want to follow what happens next, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Stay safe out there.